welcome to this episode of Good Morning Mama. Today we are talking about balancing being a mom while also being an entrepreneur. So, Chelsea and I have experience firsthand with this, and I'm excited to get into this episode. So, let's get started.
Welcome to Good Morning Mama. We're two instant best friends with a combined 13 children, ages newborn to 16, talk about all things motherhood. Our new mom versus seasoned mom dynamic will leave you laughing, and our Christian values and positive outlooks will leave you inspired. So grab your coffee, pull up a chair, and enjoy our visit.
So, Chelsea and I are both moms with a combined, how many children do we have? 13
85.
children?
Yeah.
13, yeah, 85. Close to almost 13 going on 14 combined children.
Yeah.
And we are both entrepreneurs. That is the hardest word for me to say, entrepreneurs. And together, we have used our business minds and we have started several businesses in a very short amount of time. And it has been so fun and so rewarding, but challenging in a good way to how to balance it all. Because Chelsea, when we started this, was pregnant with her fourth baby. Mm-hmm. And I have, 9 children, and balancing all of that while also being excited about these new creative ventures has been a balancing act. Mm-hmm. But we have both navigated that, and we want to share how we have been able to do that and start our businesses while keeping motherhood and being a wife at the very top of our priorities.
Yeah.
So what would you say is the greatest challenge that you've had in starting businesses and having that entrepreneurial mind while also being a mom?
You know what's funny is I've started many businesses, and none of them have been like, they've been successful, but none of them have been like out of the park, like home run swingers, right? I've like had to quit early or give up. And I think when I act, because I was reliant fully on myself, right? So it was sink or swim, and I sunk a lot of times. I swam quite a bit and I got really far, and I had to bring people in or sell the business earlier than I originally wanted to because I just couldn't fully finish it myself. I was young. I started like my entrepreneurial journey when I was 15, and then I really started businesses in private equity and real estate when I was 20, 23, 25, and 27. And I got really far.
Just have that mind, that you just have that in you sometimes. There's no getting away from it if you have.
Yeah, it was so fun, but and I learned a lot, and I think that it was really fantastic. But honestly, I had struggles because I would get to like a certain point and then I would plateau, and I knew it could go further, but I didn't have the understanding or the whereabouts or the motivation or the age. I hadn't been around long enough to really bring it to the next level. So I would sell it or, let it go or shut it down. And then I became a wife, and I really didn't have to live like in this like survival mode. And I think that was like a big difference. And so I was able to be this like traditional stay-at-home wife, and that relieved a lot of not having to pay to keep the lights on or my mortgage. I could focus.
Did it allow you to be more creative, do you think, in your business?
Yeah. And then I could have like the leeway to kind of like breathe. And if it fails, it fails, and I don't need to succeed. And then God brought you into my life. And it was so cool. And being a mom, like we've talked about this before in other episodes, but being a mom really, I feel like, is a superpower because you can push yourself to a whole nother level of commitment and consistency and keep going and keep going and keep going. And I know I'm tired, but I can keep going, and I can balance multiple things, and I can multitask a lot easier because you're constantly having to be 10 steps ahead of your toddlers, in my mind, at least. So I think like all of that kind of came together at the right time, and it's kind of positioned me to just be a better business partner and a better friend and a better like really business mind, to where I can kind of balance all of that. And it's been, I don't know, like that to me has been really fun and new and exciting. And I think a big reason why I've been so successful with Kaia and Kash and really successful with these businesses with you. I think the hardest part that I have is in being a mom and dealing with it is the mom guilt. So taking time away from kids and like being able to juggle that schedule. And I think another way that God worked, and I was actually saying this to you this morning, is like having somebody with me along the ride that knows what it is to be a mom and understands the guilt and believes in me as much as like I believe in them and believe in myself. I don't know. I think that that brings it to a whole nother like level of being like, okay, I don't need to feel that guilty. Like I can tell you like, hey, this is going wrong and right here, like this is hard. And you are like, oh, okay, well, here's how we course correct. Let's pray about this, or you give me advice. So that's helpful too. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just rambled for 1,000, so we might have to edit that. I don't. Did
No,
that
it was
make sense?
excellent and it's very good advice. And in listening to this, I feel like all of those times where you started businesses and either let them fizzle out or sold them, those were giving you the education and the lessons to get to where we are today. Because without those experiences, you wouldn't have all of that under your belt to be able to have it all align and flourish today, I feel like.
Yeah.
So it's neat how God works, because at the time you might have felt like this didn't work, I'm a failure, oh, another business that didn't
Right.
work, I should just stop. But really God was working the whole time and is like, I've got something bigger and better, and get ready,
Right.
it's cool.
Exactly. So explain to me, did you 10 years ago think that you were going to be starting how many businesses did we start this year? And we've actually
Well,
made
I
all
think
of
we
them
counted
profitable.
3. We could probably even stretch it a little bit, but um definitely 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we've also, I mean, we've written books, and we're
Yep.
starting
It's going to be
a
4 books
company.
between the two of us, and we have a
That's
master
right.
class coming out.
Yep.
Um, and they've
Yep.
all been profitable, which is what's
Yes.
crazy.
Yep.
Did
And
you
we've been
see
able to
yourself doing
give
that
back.
10 years ago?
No, well, I mean, I say no, but I mean, like you, I've always had this spirit. I've always had this, you know, um, just entrepreneurial spirit, and let's try it, see if it works kind of
Yeah.
attitude. And I'm not afraid to try something new, or to see a need and then try to fill that gap. I've always been somebody who, is that person to, want to find a solution or want to offer a way to help. But it has been very rewarding to, one, be able to start a business with your best friend,
Yes.
and two, be able to give back. And it's been really, really awesome what we've done in just a short time. And I'm super excited about what the future holds, and just how business is neat too, because it takes on a life of its own that sometimes you don't even intend. Like, you
Yeah.
might think you're just doing this small little business and doing, this little thing. And the next thing you know, you're like, wait, what if we did this? And then it kind of
Yeah.
grows and takes on this beautiful, life. And it's really cool.
Well, okay. So why don't you speak to that? Because that's something that we were talking about earlier today, too, about how abundant management was born. So we launched abundant management today, which when we post this, it'll be what, like, 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, which is very, very, very exciting. We're going to be helping small businesses and influencers really grow and maximize like who they are, what their goals are, right? And be able to kind of combine the influencer marketing with small businesses and helping primarily moms, people like us, balance the whole process of building and scaling their business and turning them into profitable businesses. But we're doing that with influencers that you've kind of found typically don't have the business experience to be able to know that they need an LLC, they need an EIN for their bank account, they need, a business email, they need to do blogs and blah, blah, blah. Like there's so many other facets to monetizing an your influencership.
Yeah.
Is that, is
That's
that?
the word. You know what you mean. You're right.
So, okay, so this is how kind of abundant management was born because we started working
Yep.
as a co-branded clothing collaboration with Kaia and Kash, and we figured
Yep.
out a need for you, and you're like, this could be so much bigger.
Yes, exactly. And then one thing led to another. And next thing you know, it's like other influencers need this. Wait, we can provide this. And then we had an abundant management business begin. But yeah, it's so true because a lot like influencers are influential.
Mhm.
There's so many amazing people out there, women and men both, that have pages that people want to follow because they are influential and they do offer advice and tips and value that they can use in their own lives. But while the influencer is so good at that, they may not realize that they need to protect themselves by creating the business part that goes behind that.
Yeah.
And sometimes, and a lot, and especially with the way the algorithm has changed over the years, an influencer's page can grow exponentially almost overnight. It's crazy. It's really awesome that there's
Yeah.
that ability. But when that happens, that can be very overwhelming for an influencer who was like, wait a minute, I was just a mom who wanted to share like a little bit of my
Yeah.
whatever it is, my
Journey.
recipes that I make. And
Yeah.
next thing you know, I have 500,000 followers, which would be, most influencers' dreams right there.
Right.
But what comes with that is, um, the need for business sense. And that is one thing among many that abundant management can help them with. And
Mhm.
what would even be better is if a smaller page knew that at the beginning to get started, because there are things that you taught me now, 5 years into this, that I probably should have done at the beginning. But I'm just glad that we did it now.
Totally
And
vice versa,
yeah,
because I didn't realize I knew the impact as a small business of what social media could be. But when you're like a small business launching, you're focused more on your products, your sales. You're not and your traditional marketing. You're not focused so much on what that social media presence could be and how it could convert sales. So teaching
yeah.
me, well, you should be posting X amount of reels, this, that, like I don't know the algorithm. So us teaming up has been really helpful with that too, for sure.
And I have worked with several small businesses over the years who, and I think I'm speaking right for them, but I feel like they know that they need to get into influencer marketing, but they don't know how. And a lot of times when they have tried to get into the influencer marketing, they have been either met with no response
Mhm.
or very high prices.
Yeah.
And it is true. I mean, there is so much value in influencer marketing. An influencer marketing a small business can change that business, I believe,
Oh,
because um,
absolutely.
if an influencer loves a product and they genuinely do and they share that with their followers, that can be everything for a small
Mhm.
business. And so yes, they sometimes do charge a rate for that, because they can, and that is their business as well. But small businesses sometimes are intimidated by that, and maybe they don't even have that budget. And um, and if they do, they don't know who to work with, and they don't know, okay, I'm gonna put this money that's a lot of money for my small business with this one influencer with really no certainty about if it's going to work or not. And
Right.
one thing I love about our business model is that we take that guesswork out both for the small business and for the influencer. And of course, there's no guarantees, but we can show past performance that a lot of times
Yes.
will predict future performance. And I love that because we want both parties to succeed. Like it is in our heart. Ever since I started this page, I've always had a heart for small businesses. And now being an influencer and my page is growing, I know how, like, we want both parties to succeed. And I just love that
Yeah.
um, we're doing that. Like, we are doing that.
I know. And it's really just evolving into it, which is so exciting and so like God for sure. But it's been like really, really neat seeing like when you post about like our co-branded clothing line, which is like a ready-made business. So for you and the other influencers that come become a part of abundant management, which is cool, but it also helps our other small businesses because when that clothing is sold or sell the sales, why can't I
And
say
it's a
that?
super fun, creative outlet too. From an influencer perspective, it is like the most fun ever to
It's so
create.
fun.
I love it. But yes,
Yes.
keep with
And
your thought. Yes.
when it does sell, we can see like, okay, from when you posted and when the products have sold, we see that conversion rate change. So from my business nerdy brain, I get so excited about it. And I'm like, okay, well, we should be scheduling our email blasts around this, and we should be doing retargeted ads campaigns, and we should be doing this and that and this. So there's so much more expansion that we like three times what our normal Kaia and Kash sales are when we launched a fundraiser with you. And so we gave back. We were able to like triple our sales. And then we can show like the other businesses that want to work with us as a case study. Hey, these are where the engagements increase, et cetera, and the conversion of the sale. So it's been really, really an exciting function of kind of the two, what are two little things coming together.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. For sure. I know
And
this answer because we've both been using this technology, but how have we been able to start these businesses and work together from multiple states? Like, we've never actually met in person, which is
I know
crazy,
it's insane.
but we've been able to talk multiple times a day and be extremely efficient. And in some ways, I believe we have been more efficient working together using technology than maybe if we were even next door neighbors and had to get together. So
Especially
how have we
as moms.
do that using technology?
You changed the game with Marco Polo.
Marco
Changed
Polo. I
the
think so
game
too. Yeah.
because we can have full-blown conversations throughout the day, but
Yeah.
it doesn't like, but that conversation, the longest period of time that I take away from my kids is when we're recording our podcasts. Other than that, I can talk to you and have what would be a 45-minute conversation in 5 minutes because you say something and I don't get back to you for another 15 minutes or whatever. But once my kid's settled doing something, I can get back to you. Like that is a game changer. Like
Isn't it
it
cool?
makes it so much more efficient too.
Yeah.
And I chat GPT.
Yeah, I know that has been helpful. But then we'll like email those types of things. Say if we do use Chat GPT to help us, get a head start on things or, multiply our efforts, then we will email those to each other or text. So
Yeah.
just using basic phones like text. I mean, we call sometimes, but not usually because
No.
talking on the phone is hard when you're a mom. It is like so hard.
And kids have meltdowns and they have needs and they have this and they have that. And
We're
so
distracted.
Marco Polo and I get to see like I don't know, like I can show you things on the screen. It's like FaceTime, but or like a Zoom call, but you can break it up throughout the day. Like it's so you can articulate it better than I can. I love it. You would think
Like
that we'd
right
be
now.
sponsored by it. I need to get you a
I know.
collab with Marco Polo. We're not getting paid for this,
Sabrina
guys.
Sister's working on that actually. She reached out to them. It's so
That's
fun.
good because,
Yeah.
but currently we are not sponsored by Marco Polo. But
This
if
is
they would
not
like to
sponsored.
sponsor us, we can show them how we built an entire three businesses with Marco Polo. So
Free marketing right here.
throwing
It's
it
just,
out there.
yeah. But no, it's like a one-sided conversation, but it's extremely efficient because, like, for instance, this morning, this is chicken scratch right here. But this morning I woke up and I made a list of things that I wanted to talk to Chelsea about. And I wrote them down and then I said them on our Marco Polo. I left a message. And so it's kind of like Zoom, but we don't have to be there at the same time. And so I said all the stuff that I wanted to say. And then whenever she had a second, when she wasn't with her kids or, tending to her kids, she could listen to it and she doesn't have to listen to it all at once. It can be like 2 seconds here, 1 minute here. And then she'll get back to me as she has time. And then the same thing, I will get back to her when I have time. And there's actually even a little notepad feature on Marco Polo
Yeah.
where we can make notes. Sometimes I'll do that or I just write on paper to remind me of things that I wanted to respond back to because it is so nice to be able to just be fully present with your children, which is, we've always said, that is our 100% our responsibility. And even if there are days where it's like, you know what, I feel like my kids need me a lot today, I'm signing off or not
Yeah.
going to be on much today. It's like, good, go do that. Like we totally give each other grace.
And then
And
5 minutes later, Marco Polo comes through. It's
Just
like,
kidding.
hold on, I got a second. I got a free minute. Hold on. The kids got occupied with this thing. Hold on. Hi.
That is so motherhood though. It's like it's so all consuming and then they're just occupied. And it's like, oh wow, like,
Yeah.
Yep.
But
And
like,
so we've been
yeah.
able to do this business and just grow this in our free minutes, like literally our free minutes that are not taking away from our children. And it's just been so incredibly fun.
Because if I get like a few minutes at night or during my night feedings, I've gotten a lot, like I've written my books during
Yeah.
that time. I've written a lot of like our business plans during the night feedings instead of watching TV, which is what I used to do. I started doing like
Or
using
shopping.
leveraging
I
chat
mean, come
GPT.
on.
Yeah, for shopping.
Scrolling on social media.
Yeah. I've been like leveraging that time and I
Yeah.
will use ChatGPT and then it'll come up with certain ideas for me. Like it'll help me along the way. And then I Marco Polo you or I send you a note knowing that it's not going to notify you like until the morning.
Yeah,
And
at her
it
2 a.m. feedings.
yeah, and it's been like so helpful and
Yeah.
resourceful. And then like you look at stuff and go through it. And when you have a second, that's been the
Yep.
way that we've been able to do it. And I really highly encourage those listening to
Yes.
leverage ChatGPT. If you have an idea or you need help, ask ChatGPT just about anything. Treat it like a virtual assistant. Don't worry, we're writing books about it. We've have it in
Yep.
both of our mom influencer and our digital course and our mom like business book, but
Yep.
we're writing another series on momming and AI. But you should definitely, please, if you want to start that business, if you want to like get out and like be an influencer, leverage ChatGPT and ask for 10 or 15 trending ideas. Ask it anything. Go ahead. You need to
Anything.
talk to somebody.
Yes, we are in such a neat age right now where we have, oh, there's baby Cora, where we have tools at our fingertips, literally, to help us do this. And it is so just rewarding to be able to do both and balance both. And it is very, very possible. And I think a lot of times, I know I hear this from my followers, they say, I would love to be, an influencer, or I would love to even write a book, but I don't understand how you have time. And I think that if moms really looked at the amount of time that they spend on other things, like online shopping or scrolling social media, or even those times where they're sitting idle, maybe during nursing sessions or whatever, those times can be used to do whatever it is that they're wanting to do that they think they don't have time for because of the technology that we have today. It's
Absolutely.
really
Yeah,
cool.
it is. And like when you're momming, like I click in and I'm a mom and I make sure that I'm making eye contact with my kids and I'm sitting on the
Yes.
ground with them and I'm like playing with them and I'm one-on-one with them and I'm like meal times are really important to me and my family. I read to them during that time. Like I make sure that I maximize the time that I have with them in person. And then after that, like when I'm on my morning walks or doing my night feedings, or I have like that nap time during the day, if I have time, I I use it to work and build a business, but I don't feel guilty because I've spent the other time super present with my kids. So, but leveraging ChatGPT has been really, really, really helpful.
Oh,
And having
absolutely.
a partner that gets it though, that's been like, because I've always started the businesses on my own and tried to do it myself. And
It's so hard.
finding the help. Oh, and I've been using Fiverr a lot. We've been outsourcing more than Karla likes to do, but we
It's
outsource.
stretching my comfort zone, but in
I
good ways.
know.
I
Yeah,
love
because
it though.
it's an affordable way to do it. And I'm like, okay, if somebody is better at it than I am, let me ask this person to do it. And if I don't like it, I don't like it. And if I do, then better. Because one thing that I had to really get past was good and done is a lot better than perfect. Because what I find is a lot of people hold themselves back from doing anything or trying to reach their goals or trying to get anything accomplished because they want to make sure that it's perfect before it gets out there. And the reality is like nothing is ever going to be perfect and you're going to constantly be
Learn
course.
as you go.
Yeah, and I
Perfect
think
as
I
you go.
learned that a lot as a mom too. Is like nothing's ever going to be perfect.
Well, and as a mom, I think that we have learned that our time is so valuable. And so whenever, you tell me like, hey, I'm using Fiverr, I've outsourced this service, because some people may not know what that is, but it's outsourcing, especially digital services to help you in business, do behind the scene
Create
business,
presentations, help you with your website, help you create a Trello board, help you
social media
literally
even.
social media, literally anything. You just look it up. That's like just ask, just look it up and it'll be on there. Somebody will be doing it.
That's really cool. But like mom time is so valuable that especially if you're starting a business and you're a mom, if you can have somebody help you with the things that are taking time and energy, but maybe not generating income like
Right.
the goal is, and that's maybe taking you away from your family more than you
Right.
want, then there is a place for outsourcing that.
Yeah.
And Chelsea has taught me that just because you can do it, because that's me, is I've always thought, well, I'm teachable. Okay, if I want to learn something, I'll just learn it and do it myself. I can do anything myself. I don't need anyone to
Yeah.
help me with anything. Come on.
No, but
But and it's true.
it's true. And that is a great skill to have and a great mindset to have. However,
And it's also, yes, it's also good to say, yes, you can do it all, but you probably
should do.
shouldn't.
Yeah,
Yeah. Your
exactly.
time is
Should do.
valuable.
Yeah,
So
and it's buying back your time. You have to buy back your time because the priority is your kids. And
yep,
then the second priority is income and what's generating income.
yep,
Because you sitting there and doing a task that can take you 25 minutes, but you can pay somebody $5 to do it because it takes
right.
them five. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They're making a lot,
Yes.
like it's just, it's
And
better.
you struggling through it and not having it look as good as their 5 minutes did. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It makes sense to me now. It didn't make sense to me a few months ago, but thank you for teaching me on that for sure. A few other things I was thinking when we were just talking is that also with kids, especially young kids, I believe that quality is just as important as quantity to them as far as time goes. Like I
Yeah.
could spend all day, every day with my kids. My husband can come home from work and tickle them for 2 minutes. That's like the highlight of their day. I'm like,
I
that was
know.
all day. You know what I mean? So I feel like there is that mom guilt for women in that do have that entrepreneurial spirit and they want to start businesses because maybe they aren't physically like 100% present with their kids all the time, but they are 100% present because they're intentional some of the time. And when they are all in. Like I'm reading you a book, I'm doing voices, I'm being silly with you,
Yeah.
I am right here with you. And that to a kid means more than spending all day long, just
Yes. And
with
I
them.
try my best to like remind myself, like I will play back the day and I will like go through in my brain, like my mom wins. When I start to feel mom guilt, I will go like, okay, wait, hold on. You got up at 5 a.m. and you fed the baby and you sat with Cora and you like stared at her and connected with her and cuddled with her. And then you got up at 6 and then you were with Kaia and you like had that special mommy daughter cuddling moment. And then you got Cash and you tickled him and you played with him and you roughhoused. And then you got them all on the wagon and you walked them to the beach. So why like and then you did this and then you did that. And I have to talk myself through my day. And while I may not have been absolutely perfect and I probably could have given them a better lunch instead of, throwing a charcuterie board or
Such a mom.
leftovers,
You're
or
doing
I
great.
could have clocked in with them and sang them more songs on my walk instead of Marco Polo and Carla. I'm like reminding myself, like, wait, hold on, there's a bigger picture here, and remember the good things that you do. And the thing is moms, especially stay-at-home moms, we don't get time off from like our
Right.
like I'm on 24-hour, I'm on call. So
Yeah.
like I scheduling time in for myself and my goals is critically important. Otherwise, if I don't fill my cup, nobody will. And I will get frustrated and resentful too. So like remembering that those things are important is helpful to for me for being a mom and what
So
I'm
true. And moms, there are probably some moms watching this who say, I am 100% fine just being a mom. I don't want to start a business and I'm not an entrepreneur.
yeah.
And that is fine too. Like you
Uh-huh.
don't have to do anything. But some of us are like hardwired in this mindset where we need this creative outlet and we love this. And when you do have that entrepreneurial spirit and when it comes together and you are able to make additional income for your
Yeah.
family and you see that and you're able to build your kids savings accounts and build them a business and see that residual income, it is very rewarding. And it also it just helps that balance of why you're doing this. You're like, I'm building this for my children, and And this is really cool that I'm
Yeah,
able to do both of these things. Yeah.
absolutely. I know. That's so exciting. It is cool. It is cool. It really is.
Women are amazing. Moms are amazing. Um, and I love that our business focuses on those two things and small businesses. Like it's just, it feels good. It feels like it's like good, good, good.
I know. I love it. I
Yeah,
know. I'm so excited.
absolutely. So, what would you say in closing to a mom who would love to start a business and she doesn't know how, but she would love to find time and find that balance of, I want to start a business. I also want to be a mom. I want to get started. What do I do? Like you've been there
Chat
over and over.
GPT. No, I'm just kidding. Um,
Well, that is a good tool. What advice would you tell her to?
Find your purpose first. You have to have a purpose behind your business. You have to meet a need, but you have to find that purpose that you're what you're most excited about and what you're most passionate about. And then you find your group and you look for other people that are like-minded. And then from there, once you get like that inspired, you have to be disciplined, you have to be consistent, and you have to actually like commit to it and give yourself grace through that commitment. But once all of those things are met, then you leverage your tools, you utilize your ChatGPT, and you just do it. And done is better than like just keeps you. If you keep telling yourself that you're going to do it tomorrow, and you keep breaking promises to yourself, you're never going to succeed. You're never, ever, ever going to get anything done because you keep breaking that promise to yourself. And what are you teaching your
Progress
kids?
over perfection, right?
Yeah. And what are you teaching your kids if you keep saying, oh, mommy wants to do this at one point and then you never do it or you never even try? For me, I'd rather shoot for the stars and land on the moon and
Yeah.
say, like, well, at least I tried because that's what I'm trying to teach my kids than not do it at all. And I think that like showing your kids that it's okay to fail, but you need to learn. And everything that I do when it comes to my business or my career or anything, I'm trying to be an example to my children that they can do whatever they want to do. And that has to be done through hard work, commitment, integrity, and really truly following through with yourself and your promises to yourself. So if you say you're going to do something and you say you're going to wake up at 5 a.m. and you're going to work out, then you better wake your ass up at 5 a.m. and work out. Because if you keep breaking a promise to yourself, then you're never going to believe what you think you can do. God's never going to bless that because he's going to be like, well, you can't even wake up. Come on. Like, what do you know what I mean? I
It
don't
does
know.
take discipline.
That's my whole
Good
spiel.
point. No, that was beautiful. And you make a great point that this is not taking away from our kids. This is teaching our kids. Because the other day I was telling you that one of my kids, my older kids, asked me, they're like, Mom, what is it that you're working on with Chelsea? Like, what is this business?
Yeah.
And this was at the beginning stages where it hadn't even developed into what it is today. But I was telling them what we're doing and explaining kind of how it's going to work. And they sat back and were like, that's really cool, Mom. Like, that's really
Yeah.
cool. It is really cool, but it meant a lot to me to see that they saw it and they thought it was cool. And I was teaching
Absolutely.
them you can be a mom and you can do these things and at the same time. And it's
Yeah.
so awesome. Yeah.
Absolutely. It is so awesome. And you can keep your integrity and you can keep your faith and you can keep your priorities and you can keep your kindness and you don't have to be like this mean and rough and gruff kind of step on you person. You don't have to like you can be who God has called you to be.
And if
And
anything, those things can be glorified in your business.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that that's like the mind shift that you have to have. If you're a mom that wants to try and start something, that's how you have to look at it. And you just have to do it and stop
You
giving
just have to do
yourself an excuse not to. What's your big
it.
saying is like,
Someday
you got to do it now. Like your big thing is like,
time
do
is
it.
now. There's not going to be a better
Yeah.
time than now. It's true. It is very true. And there are days too where, maybe our goal, our to-do list looks like this and maybe life happens and it gets about this much done and that's okay. Every day we did a little bit, and
Yeah.
that's forward movement. That's progress.
Yes. Forward. Well, hi.
That Kaia. Does she have chocolate on her face? I love that. Were you in some chocolate?
Did you have a
I,
chocolate popsicle? Yeah. Yeah.
that's awesome.
I gotta
Well,
do this.
time to take off our mompreneur
Yes.
podcast hat and let Chelsea put back
Yeah.
her mom spot. All right, well, this was an excellent episode. I hope everybody enjoyed it. I know I did, and I'm super excited about what Abundant Management is doing and what we're
Oh, me too. Check us
proud
out.
of us.
Check out our website.
Thank you.
And
I'll link
I
it in the
can't,
description.
yeah, and I'm like so excited and I love working with you.
Yes.
And I have to find where that chocolate came from. I know it's
Good
chocolate.
luck with that.